It's crazy to think that all of these movies are set up because people love dogs. John Wick Chapter 3 is finally here, and this is the third film in the John Wick franchise, and I'm always wondering, how are they going to top the previous two John Wick films? And by God, they did it. After the events of John Wick 2, John Wick is now on the run, and he is trying to protect himself because he has a bounty on him, and people want to kill him for $14 million. So he is trying to protect himself and survive the night, and we have a balls out, all crazy John Wick film that's definitely delivered on all cylinders. This is a high octane, adrenaline pumping film. Before I saw it, I was wondering, how are they going to top the events of John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2? How are they going to bring different style of action to this movie and make it not feel repetitive? Are they going to do something different? And they went all out with this movie. There's so many different scenes in here that just feel so suspenseful. From the opening shot of this movie is just filled with suspenseful scenes, and it never lets go. This movie just feels urgent and just quick all the way through. And this is a long film, about 2 hours and 12 minutes long, but this movie is always running. It is quickly paced. There is no downtime. John Wick is always trying to do something to survive, and I absolutely love that aspect of this movie, because the first two films were building up to something really dramatic and really suspenseful, and this is that movie. This is that movie that the first film was building up. This is the movie that the second film was building up, and we finally got to the third movie, Parabellum, where John Wick, everything that John Wick has done, this is his consequence for his actions, and we finally get to see it play out in the third film. And they took so many things from the first two movies that I loved and introduced so many new things in this movie that I loved. It's one of the best action movies I have seen in a long time. I've always loved how the first film and the second film is shot, and having a lot of long takes for these action scenes make this movie really intense. This easily could be a really bad movie if they edited their action scenes a certain way, really quick, fast-paced camera movement. It would have been a terrible movie. But the way that they handle these action scenes, the way that the camera lingers on these characters, you get to really feel involved in these action scenes, and you really get to see John Wick just get beat down and him come back up and fight and try to survive. There's so many different action scenes involved in this film, and even in the second one where, you know, he uses a pen to help him survive, he uses a book to kill people. It's so crazy watching him utilize different things in his environment to kill people. I absolutely enjoyed it. Now we also get some new additions to the cast, like Halle Berry. I was a little bit curious as to what her role was going to be and how much screen time she was going to get, but she did a great job in her role. I absolutely loved her performance, and she had a couple dogs with her. These dogs are highly trained dogs that were so impressive in the movie. One of my favorite moments in this film. There's also a horse, and the horse is pretty cool too. The movie took everything I loved from the first two movies. The action scenes are great. John Wick is still a really entertaining, interesting character. I love the way they write this guy. He doesn't back down from a fight, and you think that he's going to die several times, but he surprises you and fights to survive and ends up surviving the night. And it's crazy that we are in the third film for this movie. When the first one came out, it blew my mind. I was like, blessed to see that movie, and we get the third one now in 2019, and it's still going strong. It's still very action-packed, still violent as can be. If you loved the first two movies, John Wick Chapter 3 is crazier than those movies. I love how this movie connects to the second movie and the first movie as well, and it just feels like one long movie, and the consequences that were set up in the first movie and the second movie are playing out now in the third movie, which makes it for just a suspenseful ride. Like I said, this movie just starts from very beginning. His bounty is about to start at 6 p.m. and it doesn't let up. It's just constantly running. There's just people after John Wick left and right, and he just has to kill people left and right. He has to survive. It is absolutely bonkers. It is crazy. I absolutely loved John Wick Chapter 3. It is a treat. It is special. It is so well edited. It's beyond crazy to watch Keanu Reeves fight people and how they edit it, because the way that they edit it looks so real. And I know it's a lot of it's choreographed and everything, but the way they make it look, it's astounding. It's astonishing that they can do things like this. And I'm just watching it. I'm like, every single new action scene, they offer something to me, make me gasp at. I'm like, wow, ooh, that was cool. And then something else happens. And I'm like, wow, that's even crazier than the thing I saw before. If you love John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2, you're going to love John Wick Chapter 3. It fires on all cylinders. It is crazy. It's violent. It's bloody. It's entertaining. There's some comedic moments in there as well. Halle Berry is great in here. There's a couple dogs that work. There's a horse. There's motorcycle scenes. There's books. There's knives. There's so many things to cherish and love in this movie. I'm going to go ahead and give John Wick Chapter 3 an A+. Thank you guys for checking my review for John Wick Chapter 3. What did you think about it? Let me know down below. Stay tuned this weekend. I got a ranking video for all 3 John Wick films, so stay tuned for that. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.